limping down at the start. The offshore Oscars.
Horse number 13 has been withdrawn at the start, injured jockey.
And white flag is raised, and they're off. Going without offshore Oscar, leaving a field of 16 to over this 3 miles and 15 flights of hurdles as they swing in towards the first. And in the centre, Get a Day is prominent, with up on the outside Munition. These two show possibly first and second. Cappuccino Man is close up towards the far side. Right on the inner is Minds Made Up, who's also close up as they come to flight number 2. And all safely negotiating the first 2 hurdles. And it's Munition who comes to the third flight with the overall lead over Get a Day, who races in second. Third on the inside is Cappuccino Man, followed by the top weight Balella Boy in company with Clontarf. Youcantcallherthat is on the outside of this little group, with Clontarf upsides that one. Followed length down, back then by Ask Heather with Minds Made Up on that one's inside, followed then by Wild Rumour. Eagle Rock, the white cap with the green colours on the outside of those, followed by Bits and Pieces with towards the inside the change of colours on number 3 Steel Ambition, the blue with the yellow check cap, and they're followed by Static Jack and Dusk Gardenias. So heading away from the stands with 2 circuits to race in this 3 miler, and tightly enough bunched up front, but Munition the leader by about a length to Balella Boy, who's in second. Half a length then to Minds Made Up, who's third on the inside. Clontarf is next, with Youcantcallherthat on the outside of that of him, with Cappuccino Man lying in 6, a length in front of Get a Day, who's lost its very prominent early position. Steel Ambition going up on that one's inside. They're followed by Bits and Pieces over that flight. Ask Heather is next, the blue colours on the inside, followed then by Wild Rumour, who's on the outside of Static Jack and Dusk Gardenias. Steel Ambition, Sunset Sadie and Eagle Rock just about brings up the rear of the 16-runner field as they jump the middle flight in the back straight for the first time and head on towards flight number 6. And the lead continues to be held by Munition, who's about half a length in front of Balella Boy, who's now moved second on the outside. Minds Made Up jumps in third on the inner, followed then by Youcantcallherthat, with next on the inside is Cappuccino Man, who's in company with Clontarf and Steel Ambition. A length then to find Get a Day, who's in company with Ask Heather on that one's inside. Bits and Pieces is on the outer with Wild Rumour. So heading towards the straight for the second time as they continue on to approach the halfway point of this encounter. And Munition is the leader for Keith Donoghue, looking for a double on the day as they come to the first flight in the home straight for the second time. Munition, good jump in front, lands with a fraction advantage over Balella Boy in second. Minds Made Up is third on the inside, followed then by Cappuccino Man. On the outside of this group is Youcantcallherthat, who's in company with Clontarf, the striped colours on that one's inside. Next to rail then is Steel Ambition, who's followed over that flight by Ask Heather, the striped cap. The blue and gold colours then of Bits and Pieces, when the outside of this is Wild Rumour. As they come to the fence, which will be the last one in another circuit's time. And heading up past the stands, it's Munition on the inside for Keith Donoghue with a fractional advantage over the top weight Balella Boy and Kevin Browder in second. Youcantcallherthat races third on the outside for Brian Hayes, and they're a length or 2 in front of Cappuccino Man. and Cathal Landers, who races in 4. Wild Rumour races 5 on the outside of Bits and Pieces, with Minds Made Up on the inside rail. They're a length or so in front of Clontarf, with Ask Heather next. Behind Ask Heather is Steel Ambition on the inside rail, with Static Jack, the hoop colours on that one's outside. The mostly green jacket of Get a Day is next in the field, followed then by Sunset Sadie. Eagle Rock is on the outside, and Benny and Milan has now been relegated to be the back marker. But a very tightly bunched field. Head down the back straight. They've got 6 flights left to jump in this Munster Waste Management Handicap Hurdle. And the lead continues to be held by Munition by half a length to Bolella Boy in second. They're a length in front of Youcantcallherthat on the outside of Minds Made Up. A further length then to find Cappuccino Man. Bits and Pieces is next, with Wild Rumour on that one's outside over that flight. Clontarf just getting to push along for a couple of strides next on the inside. Ask Heather closes up behind that group. A couple of lengths then to find Dos Gardenias is trying to make a bit of ground ahead of Steel Ambition on that one's inside, with Get a Day next. And they're followed by Sunset Sadie. Behind Sunset Sadie is Static Jack. Steel Ambition just beginning to lose its place and drop back to the rear of the field as they head to the flight on the final flight, the last flight in the back straight 4 from the finish. And it's Munition who's going to jump that with a fractional advantage over Cappuccino Man, who's moved up very much closer order to take second. Youcantcallherthat is third on the outside. They're being tracked a length back by Bits and Pieces. Behind Bits and Pieces is Minds Made Up, who's just losing its patch on the inside. Ask Heather makes good ground, and they're followed as they exit the back straight by the ridden along Clontarf. But heading towards the straight, when they turn in, they'll have 3 flights left to jump, and it's Cappuccino Man who's come through to lead now from Youcantcallherthat. Second on the outside, third on the inner, just losing its pitch now is Munition as they head towards the third last flight. Wide open race as they come down to the flight 3 from the finish, and it's Cappuccino Man with the advantage over Youcantcallherthat coming on the outside, and Youcantcallherthat lands in the lead from Cappuccino Man in second. Ask Heather moves third on the inside, and they're followed by Minds Made Up and Benny and Milan staying on from a long way back. Static Jack is pulled up as they come to the second last. Youcantcallherthat lands a couple of lengths in front of Cappuccino Man. Ask Heather staying on the inside. Bits and Pieces moved into third as they head down between the final 2 flights. It's Youcantcallherthat with the lead, lands 3 lengths in front of Ask Heather in second. Bits and Pieces third, clear of Benny and Milan, and racing up towards the finish inside the final 150. It's Youcantcallherthat is out 3 lengths in front. It's going to be a double for Dennis Hogan as Youcantcallherthat wins it by 3 in the end. Ask Heather is second, third was Bits and Pieces, and they were clear of Benny and Milan 4, Minds Made Up 5, Cappuccino Man finished in 6th.
The result of the 7th race: first number 20, second number 11, third number 5, fourth number 4, fifth number 12, and sixth number 15. 20, 11, 5, 4, 12 from 15.
And the attention of the public and bookmakers is drawn to the notice that appears on the race card in relation to withdrawn horses. In race number 7, all stakes on number 13 Offshore Oscar will be refunded in full. The price of Offshore Oscar at the time of withdrawal was 10 to 1. Therefore, bookmakers may make a deduction of 5 cents in the euro on winning bets. This deduction applies only to bets struck prior to the announcement of the withdrawal, and the stake is not subject to any deduction.
The distances for the 7th race: 3.5 lengths, a neck, 14 lengths, a neck, and 2 lengths. That's 3.5 lengths, a neck, 14 lengths, a neck and 2 lengths. Time for the race, 5 minutes, 59.6 seconds. 5 minutes, 59.6 seconds.
Yeah, race 7 then on a card. The Munster Waste Management Handicap Hurdle has produced an impressive winner. Youcantcallherthat taking full advantage of that 44-pound lower mark over hurdles than what she's rated over fences. She's won in the colours of the Lost Welton Syndicate, trained by Dennis Hogan. That's a double for Dennis's stable, and ridden to victory by Brian Hayes. Youcantcallherthat, the winner of race 7.
Leaders, Earl of Desmond with Friary Rock, and they're followed by Mr. Manhattan, and in mid-division is Part-Time Affair, and racing on their outside is Knight's Court. As they race uphill towards their final mile and a half, and vying for the lead, Judex Le Fou on the inside of Fantasio Deline, and Zombazir Fakira, and they're being followed up the far side by Earl of Desmond, and Soldat de Voyage is just behind those leaders with Chevello, Mr. Manhattan, and Where the Winds Blow comes next with Kingram Lady, and on their outside is Knight's Court, and they're being followed up to the top of the track by Archie's Charm, and Part-Time Affair in mid-division being followed by Joshua Webb, and Utrecht is next on the inside in the second colours of Jigginstown, who are up disputing the lead with first set of colours. Fantasia Deline. On the inside is Judex Le Fou, followed downhill by Where the Winds Blow, Chevello. Zombazir is on the outside of Fakira, and then Soldat de Voyage and Friary Rock, and they're being followed by Earl of Desmond, Mr. Manhattan, Part-Time Affair. Joshua Webb is next, and then comes Knight's Court as they reach the halfway stage in the Tattersalls Ireland George Myrna Memorial Sales Bumper, tightly packed from first to last. And it's Judex Le Fou on the inside, making the bend in company with Fantasio Deline, and then Fakira, Zombazir, and Chevello is next on the inside with Friary Rock, Soldat de Voyage, and Where the Winds Blow ridden along. And just behind those leaders is Part-Time Affair, and we have a faller. We have fallers, in fact, multiple fallers. Danny Archer appears to have been brought down at that point of the track by Soldat de Voyage as they reach the 5 furlong point, and it is Judex Le Fou, Fantasio Deline and Fakira. Zombazir pushed along on the outside to hold position, then Earl of Desmond, Part-Time Affair, Chevello, Mr. Manhattan, and then Dun Magnifica, being followed by Utrecht and Friary Rock, Joshua Webb, Kingram Lady, and then comes Archie's Charm, and they're well clear. Racing round the home turn with 3 to go, and it is Judex Le Fou on the inside with a very small advantage from Fantasio Deline. They're followed by Fakira. Chevello is next with, on the outside, Friary Rock, and then Dun Magnifica, Mr. Manhattan, Part-Time Affair next, and then Utrecht as they race past the 2, and it's Fantasio Deline and Billy Gleason now just set a light in between horses. The challenger is Chevello on the outside, and Harley Dunn Staying on behind them is Uhtred with Fakira, and switching places is Friary Rock, but it's Chevello and Harley Don gaining the upper hand, flashing home and getting up on the near side is Uhtred. The colour change was lucky, as the winner of the last is Uhtred. Second is Chevello, then Fantasia in the lead, followed in by Fakira and Friary Rock, and they're well clear from Don Magnificent.
And your winners all right. SPs for the 7th race. Number 20, Youcantcallherthat was your 4-1 joint second favourite. Number 11, Ask Heather was your 7-2 favourite. Number 5, Bits and Pieces 4-1, and number 4, Benny and Milan 33-1. And would Cian Kelleher please make his way to the Secretary's office? That's Cian Kelleher. Please make your way to the Secretary's office, as you've left your credit card there. Cian Kelleher, please go back to the Secretary's office.
Presentation time then for race 7, the Munster Waste Management Handicap Hurdle. Andrew Hogan, the manager here at Cork Racecourse, he's made the presentation to members of the Lost Welton Syndicate who hail from Monavane, County Galway. And they have struck what Youcantcallherthat. She's been some servant to the lads. Of course, two-time graded winner over fences. And it looks like they'll have plenty more fun with her as well. She's won, completing a double for Dennis Hogan. Brian Hayes was the winning rider.